Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another segment of Warm Yogurt on Your Back. I am Xavier.
And I am Mr. J.
I had to light a cigarette there. And now we're going to talk about something that I absolutely wanted to talk about that might not get any traction with Mr. J. I don't know, but honestly, it just might. Parenthood, fathers, mothers, the impact that they actually have on children that people seem to be forgetting about in this world.
Okay.
And that's it. Thank you for watching, everybody. We'll see you later. I believe that parents are absolutely sucking these days in being parents. Not everybody. Once again, you just heard my philosophy from the instruction manual. But parents are absolutely failing their children.
Well, we've covered this in several episodes before. It's kids raising kids. Digital media is the new babysitter. I mean, just the feeble minds just being forced to believe what they see and hear on TV and social media. And a lot of it's people not taking responsibility for their own actions. You know,
Right.
I mean, there's a lot there. I mean, there are a lot of parents that go above and beyond and do what they're supposed to. There's a lot that are way too overprotective, that to a point where it's like the kid will never know what it's like to experience true fucking pain until they're an adult and it's too late.
Right.
And then there's others that just could give a fuck less that their kids even exist and only use them for a tax write-off.
Or spousal support.
Yeah. I mean, it's just a fucking meal ticket to some people.
Yeah.
You know, like, I don't know what else to say there for that. It's just that's my opinion on the whole parenthood thing right now.
Well, I don't know how many times we've discussed this at all, but I was adopted. My parents were walking down Kmart aisle, and there was a blue light special on babies, and there I was, $2.95. They didn't actually pick me up off the shelf. My father dropped me several times, and put me in the thing and acted like nothing happened, and off we went. I was raised in a household where my mother was my psychiatrist, my best friend, was always there. My father was very silent. Didn't mean he was a bad dad at all. He was just very quiet. And he backed up my mother's words with his threats by just simply looking at me the wrong way, you know? And I absolutely, even just growing up like that father figure had that impact on me. Now, granted, I didn't quite learn about that until I became a father myself. Like, I didn't take any of that to heart, whatnot. I was a stupid teenager. I did stupid fucking things that my father would never have dreamed of doing. But one thing I noticed in my life is that I was always a magnet for kids or just simply people in general that came from broken homes. And I guess I've always been fascinated by people who come from broken homes, how they're able to find that balance in life, you know? Me having both my mother and my father there my entire life, as opposed to like my brother Terry, who just had Ma, the Black Tornado, you know? I was always impressed that he could find that balance. Because in the end, a lot of us, we just fucking suck at life.
Well, on the flip side to that, I know a lot of people that actually come from complete homes. And I say complete as in the mother and father were both present and accounted for the entire way through their fucking lives, and whose parents are still together to this day, that are completely fucked in the head.
Mm-hmm.
And they're, how do you explain that? You know,
I'm not suggesting that one is better than the other. I'm just
because
saying.
I mean, me personally, I come from a broken home, deadbeat dad that was never the fuck around, that was more concerned with Michelob and Newports than he was about how old his fucking son was. So my mom did both roles, the mom and the dad, and you know, she was a, well, before she lost her balls, she was a authoritarian figure. You know,
But
worked in the trucking industry for fucking 20 years, 25 years.
was she the Iron Fist mom?
It wasn't so much the Iron Fist. I mean, the bitch could judo kick, and she's actually hurdled bunk beds to attack me on a couple of occasions. But I had that shit coming, trust and believe. But you know, now she's a fucking pussycat. It's like I don't know what happened to her, but you know, coming from the broken home, you know, I mean, I was raised with morals and the good upbringing, you know, and she taught me a lot and helped make me who I am today. I mean, I can't give her all the credit because violent shit had its toll on me,
Right.
but you know, I'm not a fucking psychopath.
Right.
Not by medical standards anyway.
Yes.
But so I mean, it's not necessarily about the complete or the broken home
Mm-hmm.
to raise a good kid. It's about the strength of each parent or the individual parent, really, and how important that productive, bright future is for the child.
Well, the reason why I bring this up is because a lot of right wingers, they pose it's like 70% out of wedlock birth rates for the black community, and the black community, which is weird because if you actually look at the statistics, it's only in 4 major cities that massive violence happens. Meanwhile, the rest of the black community spread out all across the United States does absolutely nothing wrong whatsoever. But I wanted to delve into that. Like, is there any credit to what they're saying? Like, does that have a massive impact on the communities itself?
I'm going to be honest with you. A lot of these right wing assholes that are spitting these statistics out probably aren't even parents themselves.
Oh, I don't doubt that. It's kind of like whenever the people who are running around screaming racism everywhere, they're a bunch of white little girls that were born with silver spoons in their mouth and have had no adversity whatsoever in their lives. It's the same thing. That's why I'm asking. I don't believe everything I read. Statistics, yeah, sure. The statistics can absolutely be, it might be a 70% out of wedlock birth rate. But that doesn't necessarily mean that that's the causal and effect of.
But at the same point, and you brought up an interesting point that where are the statistics based, and what numbers are the statistics based on? Are they based off of the entire population of the United States, or are they based off of just the population in the 4 major cities where
I think it's the overall
the excessive crime rate is?
I think it's the overall United States.
Now, if they're doing this in the overall United States, are they taking an actual racial census?
Right.
To back up these statistics, or are they just saying, okay, this is the percentage, but you know what? We're going to make it this way.
Right. Agreed. That's why I say I don't read everything. I can look at the numbers and the statistics, sure, but there's too many variables to take into account a lot of the time. And there's a lot of people out there that want their narrative to fit the facts, or they want the facts to fit the narrative, no matter what. And I'm just curious because I've never lived in Chicago. I've been to Chicago several times, and I think it's a shithole. I've seen Detroit countless times, and that's beyond a shithole. But honestly, if you ever get into real estate, go there. You could buy land for $1, and at some point in your life, the prices will go up again. But like, I think Harrisburg is a shithole. I used to spend a lot of time in Harrisburg, and it was known on the West Coast as Browntown, and or West Shore, excuse me. But does that have any correlation, or does that have any bearing on people thinking that it's just the black community in general?
Well, it's funny that you mentioned that because being born and raised in Harrisburg, we always referred to the West Shore as the White Shore.
And my brother's a Puerto Rican, West Shore Puerto Rican.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it just, we're shifting gears from piss poor parenting over to racial statistics.
Well, in a way, I like to find the basis of arguments, no matter what side they're on, left or right. You know.
Honestly, do you know where the basis for these fucking arguments come from? Is a white politician was pulling out of his driveway and saw a black gardener kick his cat.
That's a lie.
Now all of a sudden, he's going to take it out on the whole population because he's pissed off at this one black guy.
That's a lie. It was not a black gardener. It was an illegal alien Mexican.
Whatever.
That's how he only pays $3 an hour.
They just half the time they just make this shit up just to make themselves fucking feel better. They may have a small dick. They might have got bullied in school. Whatever the fucking case is, now they're in a position of power and they're like, I'm gonna fuck with people because I can.
No.
It's a fucking Napoleon complex.
I believe that.
So I don't know.
Well, what do you think is the cause for all this stuff that has been happening pretty much since the moment we were born?
What do you mean?
The vast violence that has been occurring since the time we were born. Meanwhile, beforehand, it wasn't nearly as often. There were guns in schools. We had gun practice in schools. Everybody.
I told you what my thoughts on that are.
What, video games?
I feel that society as a whole has just been so pussified and trapped in this fucking protective bubble. You know, it's like when we were kids, you could play in the fucking mud, you could drink out of water hoses, you could ride in the back of a pickup without a fucking seatbelt on. Fuck, you could ride in the front seat without a seatbelt on. You didn't need a car seat. You didn't need a bike helmet. You scraped your fucking knee open, you rubbed some dirt in it, and you kept on fucking trucking. Whatever. It's like everybody wants to protect these kids from every fucking thing. And it's like, you know how immunities are fucking built? It's by letting disease introduce itself. You'll never learn to tolerate pain if you've never fucking felt pain.
Right.
You don't know how to handle loss if you've never fucking lost.
Right.
If every fucking buddy gets a ribbon for fucking participating, how does anybody know how to lose gracefully?
So you think that's it? That's it
I think it's the pussification of society.
Interesting.
And I feel very strongly on that. I think, and I even see it in my own household.
Yeah.
Like, for example, my daughter came home yesterday. In gym class, she sprained her finger playing basketball. And I came in and my aunt's helping her out with her homework, and she was fine. Kid's fine. And I'm like, how are you doing? Blah, blah, blah. And she's like, oh, I'm good. And she tells me that she injured herself. And I'm like, all right. I said, fucking work it out, walk it off.
Walk that shit off, yeah.
And my aunt all of a sudden is like, no, we got to put ice on it. We got to do this and we got to do that. Then my daughter starts crying. And then she's bitching that it's hurting. And it's like, power of fucking suggestion.
Right.
She was fucking fine. And you didn't have to fucking go that route. Let her fucking walk it off. Let her learn how to tolerate fucking pain. You know, I got fucked up a lot as a kid.
Same.
Falling off of bikes, falling off of skateboards, tumbling down hills, falling out of trees, whatever. Do you know what? My pain threshold is like here now.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you take somebody like me, I could sit in a tattoo chair for 9 fucking hours and sleep during it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you take somebody like that, they can't even go to the doctor and get a fucking shot.
Right.
It's like, come on now. Learn to tolerate fucking pain. Because, trust me, that's not the most painful fucking thing you're ever going to go through in your life. So you better start getting used to that shit now.
So the cause and effect is that because these people are becoming so sensitive, they're snapping easier.
Yeah, because they're being so fucking protected that the smallest thing is scaring them. When the smallest thing scares you, you overreact in an irrational manner.
I know that one.
You know?
In martial arts, when you get into a fight, you're taught not to see the blood rage because you lose control and you are not aware of your surroundings. But if you stay calm, you work through it, you're able to get things done a lot better than most humans.
Yeah, it's just, you know, instead of and that's what I was talking about with these overprotective parents that insist that the child be in a rear-facing car seat until they are 17 to 20 pounds and 32 to 41 inches tall, at which point the seat should be switched around and buckled in a 5-point harness fashion until they are of said age or height and weight requirements to which they can be switched to a booster seat.
Yeah.
Then they must be in a booster seat until they're a fucking teenager. You know, fuck you.
Yeah. Like my oldest is like 1,000 feet tall. She hit that proper height and weight ratio when she was like 6.
Yeah. It's like, I mean, let the fucking police come and get me if they want. I switched my daughter to a fucking booster seat last year, and she's nowhere near the fucking requirements.
Yeah.
But you know what? I've got side curtain airbags in my truck. She's buckled in properly. If we're in an accident, we're in an accident. That's why it's called an accident, because it just fucking happens. And you know what? No matter what fucking car seat she's in, if we get blasted by a fucking semi-truck, the car seat's not going to fucking protect her.
Right.
So, just like with the finger thing yesterday, learn to deal with the fucking pain. Don't be a fucking puss about it. Just fucking deal with it. Because this is not the most painful fucking thing that's ever going to happen to you in life. I want her to go outside and get scraped up. I want her to get sick. That way, her body gets used to this shit.
Right.
When somebody picks on her, she's had kids pick on her at school. And I'm sorry, Xavier, but I tell her, I said, really know how to fuck with them? I said, look them dead in the face and say, at least I'm not adopted. And she's done that. And she's already had a kid in fucking tears because of it.
I gotta try that.
That's how pussified these kids are.
I not to apologize for. That's a good one. I like that. I love black jokes.
Seriously, I told her, I just say, at least my mom and dad love me enough not to put me up for adoption.
All right.
So, I mean, I'm a dick about it.
No, one thing that always bugged me about my youngest daughter, she's the one who has the biggest temper out of the 2 kids that I have. She was punched directly in the face in the playground. She didn't scream. She didn't get angry. She said, I wanted to hit her back, but I thought I would get in trouble.
And the bitch of it is that she would get in trouble.
Yeah, the bitch of it is that the kid continues to hit her to this day because she never fought back.
Yeah, well,
because she's afraid of getting in trouble.
That fucking teacher would be getting my boot in her ass.
Yeah.
But, I mean, it's a prime example right there. It's, you know, like I said in a prior episode, in school, if somebody bullied us, we fucking throat punched them.
Yeah.
We both went to the principal's office, and then chances are we were walking home together that fucking afternoon.
Talking about video games. What did you play on freaking Nintendo?
Yeah, exactly. You know, there was none of this, oh, I'm calling the police, I'm expelling you, your life is fucking ruined, you're getting arrested, now you have a criminal record at 7 because you fought back against a bully.
Yeah.
Fuck that shit.
Yeah. Or we better call the police because now that person might be bullied in school and they might come in with a gun later and take somebody's life.
Yeah.
Like, you want actual tolerance? Don't put up with that shit. And don't look up fucking excuses for it.
Yeah. I mean, what we need to build the tolerance is a serious desensitized. Yeah, that's the word I'm fucking looking for. Shit's got me frustrated. I can't even fucking think my vocabulary.
Yeah.
But it's... Which falls back into the parents' fucking lap.
Yeah.
You gotta know, and see the shame of it is my first reaction is when you're getting bullied at school, punch that motherfucker in the throat. But I've had to adapt my parenting techniques.
Yeah, you can actually kill them through the throat punches. Seriously.
Due to the sensitive nature of the pussification of society, now I had to use words. And you know what? At some point, she's not even going to be able to use the words to fucking defend herself because people that are adopted are going to be offended by it.
She'll get a free pass because she's part black.
No, she won't.
Yes, she will. In society, you bet. She's part of the victim pyramid.
They'll attack her and make up a statistic that she came from a broken home with a militant father who's a psychopath and
right-wing Nazi.
Yeah, and you know her mother, because of her mixed nationalities between American and German, has serious anger issues, which has developed into an anxiety and depression problem in our daughter. No, you know what? And that's exactly what the fuck's gonna happen. Yeah. They're gonna start creating fucking diseases.
Yeah. Yeah.
And mental fucking disorders.
Yeah. Well, they're doing that now.
Yeah, exactly. They're creating shit to justify how pussified they are making fucking society.
Yeah. It's like, okay, kids were much stronger back in the day, but now that they're not, because we put these rules into effect so that way everybody can be wrapped in bubble wrap, now all of a sudden mental problems are occurring. It's because they haven't found adversity at all. They never hit a brick fucking wall in their life. So therefore, they're crazy, or their depression and anger and anxiety and all that shit like that. It's just like, that's life. It's fucking stress. We all have it. Not knocking people who actually have that. I'm just saying it's
right. But
shit goes too far. Like I said in a previous episode as well, or like I said with the discrimination episode, it's a pendulum in society. We swing one way, and then we realize it's too fucking extreme, so we swing another way to try and combat the extreme on the other side. But in so doing, we go extreme on the other side. I think back in the 50s and 60s where people were actually beating the fuck out of their kids to the point where they could barely fucking walk, that was the extreme. But in so doing, now it's you can't even touch your child because you'll be arrested and that child will be taken away from you and put into a home where there's actual crackheads watching over your kid. Like, that's the extreme, and I think people are so fucking retarded about that.
You know, and I've raised my daughter right
Mhm.
to a point where, honestly, I don't even need to raise my hand to her. Honestly, I don't think I ever have. And I hope it's to a point where I never have to.
Right.
But, I've always told her, as well as my nieces and my nephews, the same thing that my grandmother told me, that I'm going to beat your ass. And if you call the police on me, when I get out, I'm going to beat your ass again for calling the police on me.
Yeah. I told my kids, I was like, my phrase is, I will stomp your ass.
And it's like, whatever. Society is pussified.
Yeah. Yeah. But in so doing, until the pendulum swings, things are only going to get worse before they get better.
The pendulum needs to fucking stop.
Well, the pendulum never stops. It's the same thing with politics, okay? They put insert Republican or Democrat into office as president, okay? Then within the first 2 to 4 years or 6 years or whatever, the American people vote in the opposite party's Congress and Senate for that balance. And people expect that balance to be met so that way the president doesn't have power and so on and so forth. But in actuality, what happens is then the next thing is then the opposite president comes into effect, and it's just the same thing over and over again. And people, they can't make up their fucking minds. The problem is that when it comes to children, they've all seemed to make up their fucking mind, and they all seem to think that they know what's best for parents and how to raise their children. And that's a very big fucking problem. Because nobody has the fucking right to tell me what I can and cannot do with my child.
Right.
And no, I'm not talking. Don't even go with well, if you're a child molester, just stop. That's a universal thing that everybody fucking agrees upon. May they all rot in hell and die a horrible fucking tragic death. Not tragic. Happily. That's the problem, is everybody thinks that this whole notion of it takes a village to raise a kid. No, it doesn't. It takes my house, me, and my wife to raise my children. Fuck your village. If I left it up to a village, they'd be fucking having little flowers in their hair all the time, and they would never know adversity.
Well, in regards to letting a village raise your kid, if that was the case, I've got a gay couple living across the street, a prehistoric old couple living this way, and a group of Section 8 hood rats living over here. So, is that the village you want raising your kid? Just throwing it out there. We can't all afford to live in fucking gated communities in white suburbia. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So they could shove that village shit right up their ass. I agree with you. But on another note, I did actually just watch a video, I believe it was on Facebook, about a Japanese open-air daycare.
I saw that, yes.
That encourages the kids to run and play and climb and get hurt and...
Which is what kids are supposed to be doing.
And be fucking kids.
Yeah.
And I thought that was like one of the greatest fucking concepts ever. Would it ever happen in America? No.
No.
You
There'd
have
be fucking barbed wire fence around the kids' area.
Yeah, in America, you have a 7-foot fucking fence around a playground that's sitting in tan bark, being monitored by 2 overweight sea donkeys that would rather look at their fucking phone than pay attention to what the kids are doing.
Right.
Somehow that's okay.
Sea donkeys.
That's okay.
I'm stealing that.
When we were kids, our playgrounds were on top of fucking asphalt.
Well, that's the pendulum. It's because fucking there might be a child molester out there.
Yeah, steel sliding boards that give you 3rd-degree burns when you slide down.
Right, especially in the summertime where it not only gives you the burns, but actually steals your skin
Yeah, I mean, the merry-go-round that would throw you three-quarters of the way across the fucking playground if you let go mid-twirl.
Mm-hmm.
That's the shit that we need.
Yep. But yeah, it's, once again, it goes right back to the pendulum. Because there might be a child molester somewhere out there in the world, we need to board up all these kids, never let them go outside, never let them have fun, never do anything.
And I know that 100% because, I mean, I volunteer at my daughter's school. And I had to go through a battery of fucking clearances.
Yeah.
Just to be able to step foot in that school.
Yeah.
FBI, state police, Megan's Law checks, the whole fucking nine. And, you know, yes, I agree with the safety of my child, but do you know what? It's getting really extreme.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's really extreme.
Yeah. In order for safety, that they deem so, you have to make everybody else's life fucking miserable, including the people that you're protecting. And that will not work, ever. You might think it'll work, but eventually it's going to backfire. It's just like putting kids on fucking drugs at young ages because of ADHD or insert any other bullshit that you want to throw out there. You create zombies.
You want to talk about your gateway drugs?
Mm-hmm.
Your gateway drugs are fucking Adderall and...
Yeah, like I don't really have a lot of respect for psychiatrists. I really don't. I look at them as I look at what are they called? The people who crack your back and your bones. Chiropractors. That's you want to be a doctor in that field or whatever. Go for a 3-day weekend course. You'll get your certificate. It's about the extent of it that I believe in as far as psychiatry is concerned as well. But I can have the respect for them based on talking to kids, trying to help them get through their issues and whatnot. But the moment one of them flips out a piece of paper and says, well, you need drugs, you have failed your job. And you have failed that child. And so have the parents, because they have to consent to it. I honestly believe that. I think shit's going way too far. And you really are hurting kids when you start putting them on drugs. Because at some point in their life, the drugs dull them, make them null and void to the world. And whenever they come back into the real world, after getting off of the drugs, because they're no longer kids, it comes crashing down on them. And they see it for what it really is. It has problems. It creates stress. And now these people can't fucking function, so they need more fucking drugs. Boom, there's another fucking zombie in our society. And I don't accept failure whenever it comes to children. Adults want to be failures. That's your call. But when it comes to you raising your kid, there's no excuse for failing them.
Yeah, that's my thoughts. I mean, if you don't want to be there for your kid and teach them how to live happy, productive lives, sign them the fuck over and walk the fuck away.
I was adopted for a similar reason. My biological parents did not want me to grow up in the world they were in. They did not want me doing that. As such, I was given to, luckily it was a literal luck of the draw that I was given to a good family. Because not everybody gets that. But it's still better than not having a parent, than having a parent around and not fucking doing anything for you.
Absolutely.
And that's one thing that's always been my thing, Kick, is how can you have kids and not give a fuck about them? I know people that use their kids as actual paychecks. Hell, I have family that do that. I think that's ridiculous.
I 100% agree.
Your children are your legacy. They're the impact that you're actually going to have in this world. When you die, people are going to forget you. But your kids, how you raise them, can either make or break this world. And if you don't even pay attention to them, you might create a monster.
Yeah.
A monster that the world has never seen before. And I think it's a shame. People aren't taking it seriously. That's why when we talked about abortion, it's like I fucking hate it. But I don't have the arrogance to tell someone that they can't do something with their body. Because some people, honestly, are not fit to be fucking parents.
Right.
Now, I wouldn't necessarily advocate killing a baby, but you do you. I don't agree with it, but you do you. And like when you mentioned before, how'd you call them? The hood niggers?
White guy said the N-word.
I said it! Get me in trouble.
Blast him.
But,
calling on niggas. Attack.
But them raising more hood niggas. It's just...
Yeah.
It's
exactly what it is.
It's fucking pathetic. And keep
it's
in
like,
mind...
That's literally all they fucking know.
There are fucking redneck niggas, everything like that. They're all the fucking same. They're all trash. And it's pathetic because people want to blame what happens on everything else but their own actions.
What I said, people need to start taking responsibility for their own fucking actions.
Right. And you people are absolutely making the world a worse place. Meanwhile, I'll be over here where it's nice and cozy. Cold, but nice and cozy.
And not drinking real coffee.
Fuck you.
Taste that Panamanian flavor.
I hate you. Until next time, I am Xavier.
And I'm Mr. J. And I'm going to make another cup of coffee.
See you next time, everybody.